Hashtag well done Baku. That was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah, like 20 laps. There's a 20 lap stretch where I was like, oh, maybe I'll fall asleep again. And then the Red Bulls was like, hey, let's just make this race interesting.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I woke up again.
Welcome everybody to the show, and that's right, we're a few hours removed from the 2018 Azerbaijan Grand Prix from Baku, and it was quite a thrilling race.
It was
it's probably 3 out of 4 races this year that we could say that we'd rate above 7 out of 10. I think that's pretty fair to say. But I agree. There was a sort of a middle stint after all that opening lap, hysteria that sort of quieted down and then picked right back up again. Just
before we really get into things, I just want to share a dream I had after because I took a nap after the race because it was kind of early. I watched live.
It was.
I took a nap after the race. I had a weird dream, and I was in the paddock after the race, and I don't know. I was doing either some media thing or some fan thing. And all the drivers were there, and they were like doing the wave. I got some good ideas for F1, by the way, from the stream. But anyways, the drivers are leaving, and like one of the drivers is looking at me and tossed me his racing gloves. Well, could you take a guess on who it could be?
I want to say it was it Sainz that tossed his gloves? No.
Ricky Bobby.
Oh, Grosjean threw his gloves.
Grosjean threw his gloves.
It wasn't. It wasn't Grosjean though. No, that's a good guess though.
Lance Stroll.
No, it was Charles Leclerc.
Oh, okay.
So Charles Leclerc, if you're listening, you owe me a pair of gloves, son. You owe me a pair of your racing gloves because I had a dream about it. Anyway, he had a fantastic race.
Very good race.
He got voted driver of the day, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Well deserved if he did.
Yeah.
He brought his Sauber up to 7th.
Yeah, exactly. He had a
sixth,
he had a very good
sixth.
Race. P6. Yeah, we'll
Even
look
better.
at the results later. So, where to start? I think it's the easiest just to start chronologically. So, if you were taking over-under bets on when the safety car would come out, it was pretty early. It was right on lap 1.
Yeah, corner 2.
Yeah, exactly. So it really started with the incident with, first it was Sirotkin got tangled up with Alonso.
Yeah, he got sandwiched there. Not much Sergey could do. I mean, he tried to back out of it, but he had, I believe it was Hulkenberg on the right side of him and Alonso on the left side. And Hulkenberg came in on him, and not much for Sirotkin there to do.
Hulkenberg barely squeezed by without any damage.
And Alonso had double puncture, I believe, right? Or was that later on in the race?
No, yes, he had a double puncture.
Okay.
Yeah, and Kevin Magnussen as well later on in the lap also, I believe, had a double puncture. So yeah, what did you make of the Raikkonen Ocon incident? Who's to blame in that one?
I think it's just a racing incident, honestly. At first glance, I thought, well, what's Esteban doing there? I mean, he's cutting him in. But, I mean, taking a look at it, you're in that spot where you're not really looking at your rival. You're the guy who's trying to pass you at that point, trying to find the apex and your braking point. And Raikkonen did, put the nose in there. Rightfully so. The door was open. But I can understand why Esteban didn't see him. So I just think of that as a racing incident. And I think the stewards got it right there as well.
I would agree. Yeah, it after the few times that they replayed it, I think you can kind of put equal blame on both of them. I mean, but I think Ocon should have maybe seen Raikkonen and given him more room. That's a difficult spot to sort of overtake because it is pretty tight. So again, doing that on lap 1, you sort of maybe have to just take it a little bit easy in the first lap just so that you can get away safely and then start your race off. But I think all in all, at the end of the day, they did make the right call in saying it was a racing incident. And Raikkonen obviously came out the best of that incident as Esteban Ocon retired on lap 1. So, I mean, but that's going to happen in a street race like that.
Yeah, tight quarters, right? I mean, that's what street racing is. You never really know what's going to happen, and we saw that at the end of the race. You don't know what's going to happen. Up next would really be the strategies that the pit stop strategies, and it seemed like the theme of the day was trying to get temperature in the tires, and that it was a trouble for every single team out there to get tire temperature in,
except for Vettel, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I guess so. Yeah, Ferraris are usually pretty good at getting tire temperature in, but even Raikkonen was struggling when he was on the softs there, the yellow wall tires. He was struggling to get temperature in his tires and really hurt his race. I mean, he could challenge for the win if at one point, but he obviously got stuck behind traffic, couldn't overtake. I think he should have pushed a little harder with those original tires when he first got them instead of laying back, because he could have jumped the Mercedes during a pit stop eventually, but
possibly, yeah.
I guess it just didn't work out for him. He couldn't find temperature.
Yeah, and Hamilton was on the radio quite a few times in the first stint, asking or complaining about similar issues. And just to that point about Raikkonen, Leclerc almost was catching up to him at one point when he was running behind him. So good pace there from Sauber.
I mean, they have this year's Ferrari engine in there as well, compared to last year where they had the previous year, so 2 years old now, engine in. So it's a massive difference when you have an engine that you can compete with.
Yeah, at least they're on par now this year, and they're not, like a year behind, which was ridiculous last year. So yeah, that was, and again, it was kind of surprising. I don't know if they expected the tires to maybe last that long, but I mean, Bottas went like 30 something laps before he pitted.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like race was like 70% done before he made his first pit stop. So I was pretty impressed with how drivers were able to sort of, and it was on the ultra soft as well. A couple drivers.
Well, it wasn't even 30 laps, wasn't it? It was like right before the safety car came.
It's very close. Yeah, it might have been like high 30s. Like
I think it was
40.
high. It was pretty high. It was pretty up there.
I think that has a lot to do maybe with the temperature not being as hot as it usually is. They usually race there in June, right? This is the first April race. A little cooler temperatures. Next year, if they have the race at the same time, I don't know if the schedule's out yet, but I would expect Pirelli to bring the hypersofts in.
Yeah, that was actually what I was going to say. Is Paul di Resta, who was filling in for Martin Brundle, was saying
fantastic
the same
job
thing.
by Paul di Resta. I love Paul di Resta.
He's not my favorite, but he did do a good job.
I think he's very good driver analysis. Like recent driver analysis. I mean, he drove the car last year.
Yeah,
for one race, but he drove a car last year, so
yeah, that insight definitely helps a lot. If you ask Kimi, maybe you should stay in the reporting business.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, he did do a good job, and commentary suits him. I think probably better than maybe just the stand-up reporting itself.
Yeah. Well, I like him when he's breaking down there with the TV.
The SkyPad
the
stuff?
SkyPad, yeah, that's what they call it. Yeah, I think he does a great job with that.
Yeah,
it really suits him.
Yeah, they got a good, solid little team over there. Where were we going with this?
I don't
again?
know. Paul di Resta.
Everybody see Nicky Lauda there too?
Oh, Nicky,
yeah.
Nicky was doing his typical Nicky interview.
Yeah.
He
was not impressed.
Yeah, he's never
Classic.
impressed.
I'm with those guys though. Man, they raced with like no safety back then.
Yeah.
Completely different from this year.
We were on Raikkonen, Leclerc.
Yeah, well, one of the things I wrote down was the early battle between Carlos Sainz and Max Verstappen. It was good to see the Renault boys challenging the Red Bull. And then Sainz got past Verstappen in the end, and Hülkenberg was up there as well.
Yeah, well, Max didn't manage his batteries very well.
Not well at all.
And that's what led to the overtake. He just wasn't recharging his batteries when he should be, or I don't know how that was mapped up. But it seemed Red Bull didn't have it mapped up properly.
Yeah,
because I know you can automatically map it up to save at certain parts of the track. But
I think that's what they were maybe telling him. They were telling him to go mode 7, whatever that one is.
Whatever button that is.
They told Ricardo the same thing, I think, a couple laps later.
But Ricardo seemed to be harvesting the electric energy a little bit better, mostly to try to get past Max, but...
Yeah, a lot better. He looked like he had the better car, and we'll get to that a little bit later. And then Hülkenberg, looked like he could have been up challenging maybe for a podium.
Another mistake at Baku for him. He
had
that last year too, where he clipped the wall and he broke his suspension.
Yeah,
and again this year, he could have been on. He would have got a podium, I think.
Probably. I mean, he probably
maybe second.
He would have squeezed by the Force Indias for sure.
Maybe second.
The Force India. Yeah, I think maybe second too.
Because he was ahead of Raikkonen.
Right.
So that'd have been huge for Renault. I don't know if they've had a podium in however long. It's been a while.
Probably not since the Lotus
Renault
days.
When Raikkonen was really on fire.
So
with Lotus
2013.
Yeah,
and then Hülkenberg's never had a podium.
No.
Is he a bit overrated in your opinion, or?
No, I
think
think he's underrated actually.
Yeah,
I think he has a lot more talent. That's someone where I would love to see him go to Mercedes or Red Bull, and have let's just say that Bottas doesn't come back to Mercedes. I mean, I think the top two candidates to fill that spot is either Hülkenberg or Daniel Ricciardo.
Okay.
For Mercedes?
Yeah.
Okay. It's interesting.
That's just my opinion. I mean, I think Danny Rick would be better in Ferrari Red, but that car suits him better. But That's just my thing. That's what I think. He deserves to have a top quality car. He's a very talented driver. He just needs to kind of clean up those little mistakes, and everyone makes little mistakes. But it seems 2 years in a row at Baku where he's thrown away a solid finishing position.
He's been pretty unlucky in his career.
Yeah.
I have to agree. Just a lot of just unfortunate scenarios. Singapore last year too, he was running P4, and then I forget what the issue was, but eventually had to retire from the race. I think it was some sort of engine issue. So
he'll get a podium this year. I'm sure he will.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so. Renault looks like they have a good package, and they're improving. And he did a really good job considering he was down 5 place grid penalty due to the gearbox. So he had a good start, and it looked like it was going to continue. And it looked like Renault was probably going to stay ahead of Red Bull had that incident not happened.
Yeah.
And then where did Carlos Sainz finish in the end?
5th.
He finished pretty high. Yeah, so P5.
Nailed it.
Yeah, so he was right there too. So a good finish for Renault, and I think the first time Sainz has sort of it was the first time this season Hülkenberg hasn't finished in the points. I
didn't finish the race, so
yeah,
that
not a
helps.
good day. Not a good day for the Hulk. So that was Hülkenberg, and then all right, let's move on to the Red Bull subject.
The scenario.
We'll start off a little bit earlier in the race. So they were bunched up behind each other. I think it was P5, P6. They were running for a good part of the race. And Verstappen was ahead. Ricciardo was chasing, and like you mentioned before, Ricciardo was harvesting the battery power a lot better. And he had a lot better overtaking opportunities. But Max did not let him go by. And it wasn't even so much that he should have let him go by, but there were a couple instances where he was just getting too close, turning in on him a little bit in certain areas, where it's really tight with the walls. And then obviously everybody was wondering, are team orders going to come into play? Is Christian Horner going to tell Max to let Ricciardo by? Because at that point, it looked like he had the better car, and he looked like he was faster. And, the top 3 were pulling away, and Red Bull were sort of just wasting time with this sort of teammate battle that they were going on. And they touched like 2 or 3 times during the race.
Oh, yeah.
And,
as Verstappen said, they brushed. They just brushed.
No, they touched. I mean, it could have been a puncture.
Yeah. I saw the replay. It could have been really bad.
Yeah. And when I was watching that, I'm like, they're going to come together eventually if there's no team orders. And then obviously it just compounded later on in the race when Danny Rick was ready to lick the stamp and send it, and he sent it right into the rear of Max Verstappen.
No, but to be fair, Max made a double move.
He did.
He was cheeky and tried to subtly. He moved to the outside, and that was his first move. So Danny went to the inside, and then Max, he did a little slow merge in.
Well,
I don't know, man. Let's
see if we can pull it up.
If you look at it though, it looks like Danny Rick is the one who's trying to be sneaky and go on the outside.
No, but he's already Danny's made. He indicated where he's going on the outside, and Max blocked it. So that leaves Danny to have clear path on the inside. That's his line now. They have their separate lines now.
I agree with you.
And Max came in. Yeah. And Max came in. So that's where now, saying that, listen here. If you're Danny Rick, I think you have to be, Max.
Yeah.
He's known for that. You gotta be a little bit careful. You gotta be a little careful.
If you watch the replay, like they did an analysis of it on Sky Sports right afterwards. If you look at the replay, you can see Danny Rick pull it to the outside, and as he's like pulling in, you could already see him veering to the left to go back into the lane.
But he's allowed to do that.
I'm not saying he's not allowed to do that. I'm not.
This is gonna be a big debate.
No. I'm not saying he's not allowed to do that. But that point, like as soon as Ricciardo goes back to the left, you see Verstappen sees it and he tries to cover for it. I agree with you that he should have let him go. But it was a tough call, man. You're trying to defend at the same time while you're.
I mean, it is kind of both their faults.
Yeah,
it is. I would agree it's both. Yeah.
I think it's both as well. I wouldn't put it on just on one person there.
Yeah, I think Danny has to be have a little more realization that it's Max. So I think he's going to be aggressive.
I think he lost a lot of patience behind Verstappen.
He passed him, and then he lost the pass during the pit stop phase.
Yeah, and he just overcooked it. He had DRS, he had a little bit of a slipstream and a toe, and then he just. And then again, like if Verstappen would have just picked one line like he's supposed to, because you can weave to a certain point when you enter the braking zone.
If this is what if I was Max, what happened? Let him have the inside. He's gonna have the inside. He's gonna really overcook it. Go on the outside, and then in the exit, get a good drive off the exit, and turn back on the inside and pass him that way. And then you have the inside to the next turn.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Maybe we'll see just there's a few angles.
I mean,
here. They'll show the replay. It's a little bit.
I mean, to be fair, they're going 320 kilometers an hour. That's hard to make a decision that quick.
Yeah, easy for us to say. Right?
Yeah, as we're watching it.
I think it shouldn't have happened, of course, but it doesn't matter who to blame. It's just bad for the team.
Yeah. Here we go.
See, there's the
but
that's the
you
move.
saw what Tyler you were saying there. If you could just back it up maybe just a little bit, you see Verstappen just made that slight
That's
move
another
to
move.
the
Slight move.
inside.
And it's not a full line change, but it's
see
a half line change.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah. Ooh, I don't know. Looking back on it, I would put maybe 70-30 blame there for Verstappen.
Yeah.
Verstappen definitely deserves majority of the blame. Like, I would say 60-40. But yeah, like it's definitely on both the drivers there at that point. And I didn't realize it was like direct wheel contact too. I thought it was just one wheel hitting each other, but I didn't realize it was like wheel to wheel. It was bad, man.
Real bad. Yeah, here we go.
Right here. Like,
Oh my God! Like,
at that point, like you can see, he's like, "Whoa, what do I do?"
So you can see that when Ricciardo made his last move to the inside, he was committed.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, when you're going at they're at 320, maybe even 330 at that point. I mean, there's no way you're going to be able to overcorrect that, because if he would have like wildly overcorrected, he goes straight
he's
into
going in the wall,
which can be a bit more dangerous. But you see that just
like right there. You can see right here is his reaction, where it's like,
yeah, he's like,
what? What do I do? Like, I need to brake right now. You can see the 100-meter board right on the side of the screen there as well. That's his braking point.
Yeah, he's just like, okay, I'm gonna park my car right under Max.
Well, yeah. See, this is where he's pulled over to the right, and immediately he's ready to go back.
So
to the
at
left.
this point, they can still sort of play.
Yeah,
the
you're still
blocking
playing
game.
around.
Yeah, you're
you're
still
at
playing
200
around.
meters, 150 meters.
And this pulls to the left.
You're at 150 meters here, 175 meters ish.
So I feel like this is where both of them have committed to their lines.
Yes.
Max is going
He's
way
gone
outside,
to the right. Ricardo's going back to the left.
right on the inside.
And then right
this
here,
is where
and you can see you're about 125 meters now.
Yeah.
Your braking point's in 25 meters. You're gonna start braking, and that's when you can see
Right
he's
here.
right here. You see
Ooh.
your 100-meter. He's starting to brake now because
And
he
you can-
realizes Max is coming in.
And you can see just how little room there is, and that's because Verstappen moved over.
Yeah.
When we saw the frame before, Ricardo had plenty of
Had-
room to
had
go
a
on the inside.
Yeah.
So he moved over. So looking back on it now a little bit, I would
now
put-
you're screwed.
And,
Yeah.
and this is
This is
where,
trouble.
like, Ricardo, he tries to go back to the right, but he realizes as soon as he turns, he can't do it. Like,
No.
he has no
Oh,
space.
he's
He has
locked up.
He's no space, and then
boom.
That's a lot of
then
money.
there it is. Oh, that's just
We are
brutal.
thankful that the team let us race. This is the worst scenario, so that's the crappy part of it, that it's come to that. But yeah, we'd obviously battled all race. We touched maybe once or twice already.
Oof.
But yeah,
That's a couple solid,
Just,
that maybe $1 million damage right there.
Yeah, you wouldn't be wrong actually.
So does that kind of change Ricardo's
Oh,
decision
did you guys
at all?
did you guys see this thing?
No,
This interview? Well, okay, it's not here, but they interviewed the guy from Red Bull, and they're like, yeah, we don't have a number one. We kind of just let the drivers work it out themselves and just race. You know, I'm like, it's an interesting strategy. You can do it that way, but like you should have a number one
Well,
driver.
but none of them will want to be the number two. That's the thing.
You wouldn't
Yes.
want to be like
Yeah.
Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah.
I agree. But you gotta think
or
of a
Mark
game
Webber.
plan, yeah.
Just ask
Ooh.
Mark Webber. Not bad for number 2 driver.
But you're right. I think this does change Daniel's decision to whether he comes back to Red Bull, and that's all just because the fact do you really want? You're gonna end up battling Max for the rest of your career. It's known. But if this happens and Daniel's in a Ferrari and Max is in a Red Bull, it's a racing incident.
I think respect goes out the window.
Yeah. Now that it's both Red Bulls,
They're both teammates. Yeah.
It's worse.
It's worse. It is worse.
Yeah, and that's why the debate comes in is, do you want, like, obviously you don't want team orders because you don't want it to ruin the racing, and like he said, it's thankful that they let him race, but like I said, do you let them race at the cost of this as another double DNF? That's 2 double DNFs out of 4 races.
Yeah.
So I think at that point, Christian Horner should have stepped in and said, Max, let Daniel, because they touch. So like after the first time they touch, maybe you let it go. After the second time they touch, you're like, okay, we gotta do something here. So to me, at that point, you let Ricardo pass, and see if he can catch up to P4, P3, and if not, then maybe you can bring Max back. I mean, Mercedes have done that before. They let Valtteri attack the Ferrari, then they let Lewis by and try for him to do it. They did that in Hungary last year, and then eventually Hamilton let Bottas come back through for the podium. So you got to do something like that, because at the end of the day, they are challenging for a driver's championship, but you got to also consider the constructors as well. And again, you don't want a double DNF, and now this whole sort of...
Did Mercedes win the constructors this race?
Ferrari is currently leading constructors now.
Yeah, so that
But Vettel lost the championship lead,
yeah,
which is interesting.
So that's pretty much it on the Red Bull front.
Yeah, on the Red Bull front. I was going to say, poor Romain Grosjean, man. Like,
That's the next thing I had.
like the poor guy.
I feel for him.
He started 20th, has a fantastic drive, moves up 12 spots, 13 spots, and then just plows it
Just
into the wall.
and leave it to the American
Damn.
team to just spread fake news. They're like, yeah, Ericsson hit you.
What?
and then you
didn't
see in the
even hear
replay
of
that
this.
Ericsson is like 10 feet behind
He's like
him.
walking up, trying not to hit Grosjean.
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like,
and he literally like steers out of the way so he doesn't.
Yeah,
hit
he's like on the
other
radio. He's
car.
like, sorry, man, I think Ericsson hit you. Like, where do you see that?
I don't know. But like, I just feel so bad. Like, it's one of those like mistakes where you're like, wow, what an idiot. But at the same time, it's like, I understand like how it could happen. It's just he had a great drive. Like, he was my driver of the day before he plowed it into the wall himself. And it wasn't even like it was like a soft impact. Like, he
smashed
reefed on it right in. Like,
creamed the wall. Like, he couldn't hit it harder himself unless he like tried to like just not.
yeah, like he literally went like turns toward the wall and just fucking floored it.
Well, like, he's warming up his tires, but like obviously.
Oh, he warmed them up good.
Obviously,
He warmed the wall up. They had to bring out the medical car. That's how bad
That's
it was.
how bad he hit. That's how hard he hit.
They must have called CAA and they brought the tractor out as well.
That tractor was scary.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Bring the flatbed out, eh?
Bring the flatbed out, and people and like that. I agreed with. I forget who said it.
Hamilton said
Was it Hamilton?
Yeah.
He said a red flag.
Well, you said you should stop the race.
Yeah, because like going around those corners at Baku, 100% that should have been red flag. Also would have been for better racing, but Charlie should have red flagged that race. Get a clean. You have time to clean up all the. And this is. Listen here, okay? I'm pulling a Don for those of you Canadian listeners. A little Don Cherio here, okay? You listen here, okay? Well, if you clean up, you stop this race, okay? You stop the race. You have tons of time for the marshals to clean up all the debris from the Red Bulls on the front stretch. You have all the time for Grosjean's car to be cleared up, clean all the debris from there, because there is a ton of debris.
There was an insane.
It
amount of
was
debris.
everywhere.
Just ask Valtteri.
Exactly. You stop the race. You stop the race, and Valtteri Bottas wins that race.
Oh my
everything's
god.
cleaned up.
Yeah.
Everything's cleaned up.
I felt awful for him at the end of that race.
Yeah.
He deserved to win that 100%.
And
Well, I don't know if he deserved it, but like,
I think he deserved it.
well, just to close
I think Romain
on,
Grosjean deserved to win that race, but he's not going to win the race.
No, he didn't deserve to win that race.
Yeah, at the point before the
Just drove right into the
before he
wall.
drove into the wall. But
On a safety. With
Yeah,
the
on a
safety
safety-
car.
Yeah.
With the safety car.
But again, like who are we to say, right?
Yeah,
We're not driving it, but
I mean, I'm sure I'd plow it into a wall coming out of pit exit, but like,
yeah. I mean, but it was just so weird. I mean, you don't really see stuff like that happening. But yeah, it was pretty dangerous for them to bring out that flatbed. I mean, that is how, unfortunately, Jules Bianchi sort of.
well, it's a tractor.
Yeah, but tractor. It's a different kind of story, but.
It's the same idea.
I think if Grosjean.
It's okay.
could plow it-
The halo will protect that. Don't worry.
Yeah. But I think
Too,
if
is that too
Grosjean.
soon? Is that bad? I don't know.
I mean, it could have.
Hey, well, it could have.
Also, did they update the graphics for the Halo?
Yeah, that looks
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, that looks really good. I noticed that this time around. I was like, yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
it
they
looks like,
weren't. They weren't up. The graphics were locked in now. I thought they weren't updating anything. But
I think that was nice.
I liked it.
I like it from the standpoint if somebody had that like creative idea just to put
Yeah.
it on that.
Yeah.
Well, it's dead space, right? If you can fill it up, you might as well.
I mean, everyone
like-
hates how the halo looks, so you may as
Yeah,
well try to
you
make
might
it
as-
look decent.
Yeah, good idea.
I mean, if that was like a HUD for like the actual drivers, that'd be great. But you know,
Do you imagine?
It will eventually. I mean, they'll probably have like through their visors all the virtual
I wouldn't like
reality
that.
stuff.
I wouldn't like that.
It's gonna get to there eventually.
No, I think once they put that No, I don't know.
I think
guess
eventually
okay.
they'll just be sitting on the pit wall with remote controls and then just going.
Yeah,
then
we'll
we're
just have
screwed.
electric cars going around.
Whoa, Formula E. Respect to Formula E.
If Formula One goes electric, this show's over. Fuck electric.
We had a great run.
We're not doing Formula E podcast.
Did anybody
Wow.
watch that Niki Lauda, Alain Prost interview? Yeah, like let's bring those days back,
Yeah.
please. I digress. Anyways, so that
Also,
was.
I don't know if you guys already mentioned, but good for the sometimes podium man to make it up there. The
Yeah,
the li-
Sergio.
Cheers
yeah.
to Sergio
Yeah,
Perez.
the
I mean,
living-
I like Esteban better, but cheers to Sergio.
The living meme lives, you know.
I think Sergio complains too much, but anyways,
It's always Baku. They seem to just squeeze out that
Yeah.
podium. So
at least also just want to shout out to Canadian Lance Stroll. First
Very good
points of the
race.
season.
Very good
again,
weekend.
same as last year. Stayed out of trouble. Doesn't have the greatest car. Stayed out of trouble. Moves up eventually. I mean, like he would have finished in the points if like everything else like, didn't hit the fan. But 8th place, 4 points. 4 points for Williams.
yeah,
Is there? I mean, at least they're on the board, so it's nice to see. At
And
least he has something in Baku.
and a good qualifying. You started
Yeah.
P10,
Well,
qualified
P11,
P11, and then
but-
moved up. So yeah, good for Lance Stroll, and Sorokin was in the mix too. If he wouldn't have crashed out.
Yeah,
And a couple other notable mentions. Brendan Hartley, his first
his
points.
first,
First
points.
points, yeah.
Charles Leclerc as well, his first points, but we were talked about him.
Yeah,
But good for Hartley as well to have some points and some success because
After the last race too.
Yeah.
yeah.
that's a
Good
very
for him.
seasoned driver. I mean, he's been around for throughout the different variations of racing. Of course, really known for his endurance race pedigree. But it's nice to see him get a little reward for working hard in Formula One. And, he's a nice guy. So
yeah, good for him.
seems-
It was a good finish.
never met the guy, but seems like a nice guy.
My fantasy team was looking fantastic until the safety car came in.
Yeah, we'll cover the fantasy just at the end.
I forgot to set my lineup, so like I'm
You're
already
down a week.
I'm behind here. So
Yeah.
you know what? I'm just doing it out of respect for all of you because I'm just giving you a head start. So
Fair enough. And just lastly on the results, look who squeezed in another double points finish, McLaren. It looked
Yeah,
like it was
you're
all going wrong for McLaren. They had a not so good qualifying, but they squeezed out another double points. So good for Fernando Alonso and the boys in orange.
yeah, don't forget Stoffel.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just said Fernando.
Well,
Respect to Stoffel.
yeah, he's a nice
Young
guy.
driver.
I never met him either, but
I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy.
they're all nice guys.
Well, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, Hamilton has different things to say about a certain driver.
I mean, Kevin Magnussen tells everyone to suck his balls, so I don't really know that either.
I respect that. though. I respect the fact that he doesn't live on air.
Yeah, I know, right? They're honest.
So do you guys want to talk about fantasy lastly? You guys can I mean,
Lastly, we'll talk about
I can
the,
say who my fantasy roster would have been if I actually picked
I don't
it.
even remember mine. I'd have to pull it
I
out.
don't know.
Yeah.
How many drivers do you have to pick? 5?
five
Five
and then
and
you
the-
pick a constructor.
I mean, I don't know what the
Constructors.
100 million. Like, I can't judge what my 100 million would have been, but it would.
Well, like,
I probably would have picked Vettel, Raikkonen, Lance. I would have picked. Oh, let's see. After that, like maybe Hulkenberg.
yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
chose Hulkenberg.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then
same. Oh fuck! Damn it.
I see. You took a serious turn, man.
and then maybe like a lower tier guy to like a Leclerc or an Ericsson or someone or like a Hartley or or Gasly, someone that can doesn't cost a lot but could potentially move up. And then I probably would have chose a Ferrari just to as my
pick Vettel.
car. But
Yeah. And speaking of Vettel, we can wrap up our show just on what happened in the last part of the race. So safety car came out. It looks like Valtteri Bottas is going to win. Mercedes, again, safety car is a big topic this year. It worked in Australia for Ferrari. Now it's working out for Mercedes.
yeah, it kind of flipped. Now it's even.
Yeah, exactly. Now, luck has evened itself
Yeah.
out on the grid. But when Vettel made that move on Valtteri, I was like, that's not a good move. He had about 3-4 laps to go.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
I mean, he went for the win. He went, he did
I
what...
I didn't mind it. I mean, like if you're gonna send it, like that's the kind of the perfect time to send it. So
I guess in hindsight, after Bottas had the puncture, that it's easy to say he should have just, stayed behind him.
yeah, exactly.
But obviously,
Yeah, I would have done the same thing. I would have sent it at that point too.
yeah, it was close.
So
I
he
mean,
controlled the race at that point,
yeah.
which he did all race.
This is the second race in a row now where Vettel's dominated qualifying. Well, not for the most part, dominated qualifying
Yeah.
and looked comfortable throughout the race, and then safety car has sort of flipped.
Wasn't Brendan Hartley up there for qualifying, like 4th or something?
No.
No.
I hope
Am
He was not.
Maybe I'm just.
I think you're thinking
You're-
of somebody.
Maybe he had a
maybe I
dream.
was drunk.
Yeah, maybe.
I was drunk.
Maybe you had a dream like me, and Charlotte Clerk is gonna give you a pair.
There's
of
something
glasses.
I was-
Please,
there was-
Charles, I need a pair of racing.
There was something I was really surprised by looking at the
Well,
qualifying.
Gasly had a really good start, so he was running up there
Yeah.
in the points. So he had a pretty good start. But yeah, the championship is shaking up pretty interestingly now. I
Yeah,
mean,
Shaker. Anyway, you can pull up the championship standings for drivers.
I can. Maybe the internet won't though.
I think Hamilton is in the lead now for sure.
Which I didn't think he
there we go.
was. Oh, by 4 points. Lovely.
4
Hey,
points,
Kimmy's in
yeah.
third. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, it all worked out for
I guess
Kimi Räikkönen.
consistency, eh?
Well, yeah, if he wouldn't have had that DNF,
You know what?
he'd be right up there.
Lewis and Sebastian have a couple of bad races. Hello, Kimi Räikkönen.
And yeah,
And Valtteri. And, well, I guess Danny Rick, too.
No,
It's somewhat
Fernando though.
I'd say, yeah, good for Fernando
Yeah.
for 6. I'd say from 5 up is really where, like, it's interesting.
Yeah.
And then just go to the constructors. I think Ferrari has
Ferrari are in
maybe
the
a
lead
few
by like a point, 4 points.
4 points.
Yeah,
Wow.
so same thing. And then so it looks like once again it's going to be
Ferrari
Yeah,
and
Ferrari,
Mercedes.
Mercedes.
Yeah.
sorry, Ferrari, Mercedes.
Yeah. Williams on the board.
There we go. Everybody's on the board now.
That's
Now the
always nice to
championship
see.
can begin. And good on Formula One and maybe Azerbaijan for moving this race up a little bit earlier. It's another exciting race on the season, so it provides us with some good entertainment early on and can draw the fans in.
Of course, the next race is in Spain and Barcelona, and I will be in Spain for
During-
the race.
That's right. So,
But I will be about 12 hours away. So, like, on the other side of the country, I don't think I'm going to make if I do make it,
yeah,
I'll
let
have
us
some
know.
great content for you guys.
Yeah.
But if I don't, then, well, I'll watch it on TV on regular time, so which
Yeah.
is nice.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get maybe.
Can you revert
send
to
us a
session
video
time,
from Spain.
Shaker, to see what time it is for me when I'm in there?
That's the time for you there.
Oh, no, that's the time for you guys.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
there you go.
3:10.
3 o'clock.
3. That's nice.
That's
for
That's
you.
decent.
That's easy
hammered
for
by
you.
that point.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can start early.
9:10 for us. I mean, that's not bad. That's later.
No,
than
that's not a bad
Baku.
race.
Before we go, could you just open that fantasy? We'll take a look at our league. We'd like to thank everybody for joining our league. We got quite a few participants here, so they haven't updated the points. So we'll post on our Twitter. Of course, we are recording this on Sunday, so tomorrow for Monday we will most likely post who is leading our league. It might be
Not
Shaker.
me.
Definitely not me.
I
just
don't
pulled-
think it's me either.
I just pulled up my team and I'm looking at.
It's going to be some guy from, like Bulgaria.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's international though. We got it.
We do have a lot of international
Yeah,
people.
I picked
so we appreciate
Bottas,
the
Ricardo,
support.
Magnussen, Alonso, and Gasly. Like I said, after
No.
After the safety car,
Yeah,
I
let's see.
went,
We got
no updates
couple
yet.
from the
That's what I was
States.
hoping to get an update.
Pakistan.
Latvian flag or Italian right there.
Got somebody from the
What's
Netherlands.
Netherlands.
What's that?
Oh, India. Isn't that India? Warrior?
Sangmor Kane? What's Sangmor Kane? What country is that?
I don't know. Which one do you see that?
Under Canada. What country is
It's
that?
hard to
Is
see.
that like
So yeah, if you haven't joined our,
Gabon?
who knows?
I know, I'm very.
Yeah.
What
I guess-
flag is that?
I don't know. Maybe he can.
Maybe we'll get a comment. Somebody.
Yeah,
yeah,
whoever's
whoever's channel
whoever's
this is.
whoever's page this is, let us know where you're from because we're actually very curious.
Yeah. Well, we do check out our analytics, so we have quite a few people watching from the UK and the Netherlands, Denmark. So
Hello,
that's-
Verstappen fans.
That's pretty cool. So, guys, if you haven't joined our league, it's the BackMarkers F1 show on F1 Fantasy, and use league code 51998F. It's a lowercase f.
You can follow. You can find it on the Twitter,
yeah,
which is
That's how I have to go to it.
F1 show.
you have that down.
Yeah, I know. It took me a while. And like I said, the winner of our league at the end of the season will win some prizes.
Maybe
from
a
us.
Charlotte Clerk's gloves.
Maybe, yeah, maybe if that comes through. Yeah. So that's pretty much about it for the Azerbaijan race recap. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I'm excited for Spain. Fernando Alonso on the podium. Heard it here first.
I think you might be dreaming a little too much. But we'll
Oh yeah,
see
we
what
didn't
happens.
we didn't make our calls for the next race. I guess we're gonna do that in our next.
Well, I'll be in
on our
Spain.
preview.
Yeah.
But, so I got to do my calls now.
Well, no, you could send us from a beach in Spain.
When
Send us
are-
a
when are
quick
you
video.
leaving?
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll
do
totally do that.
I leave Wednesday. I don't know what time this goes up. I leave May
Tomorrow.
2nd.
Yeah, so once. Yeah.
I mean, you
this
can
Wednesday.
make a call now if you want. It's up to you.
No, I'm gonna do the video call. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
I'll do it from a beach
Yeah, we'll do
or a soccer stadium, one of the two.
yeah, something cool, and then give us a shout. But yeah, it looks like me and Shaker will just be
Well, I mean,
here for the Spanish
Yeah.
review.
Yeah, maybe there's a guest that can come on.
We'll see.
Good friend.
Daniel Ricciardo.
Stroll.
I was thinking Michael. I was
Yeah.
thinking Michael Nellis.
Yeah, that's
That
true
works
too.
too.
Yeah. We'll see when Montreal rolls around. We'll see who wants to come down to Ottawa and be on our show.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. And we're planning
Plans.
some stuff out. For
We're gonna
the-
lick it and send it for that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We're planning some special stuff for the Canadian Grand Prix because we are fairly close to the track. So
Yeah.
stay tuned for that stuff. That's a little over a month away.
First week of
so
June or something, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy how close that is.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Yep. It's coming near. So that's it for our Azerbaijan race recap. Tyler and Shaker, thank you as always. And remember, guys, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're also on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at TBMF1 Show. So follow us through there. Comment on this video and let us know what you thought of the race. It was a pretty crazy race. So I think everybody has their opinions and has a lot to say. And we'll be posting clips from this episode within the coming days. We got about 2 weeks, I think, till Spain.
2 weeks.
So-
Fortnite away.
Fortnite away. So safe travels. Enjoy the sun in Spain.
Yeah.
Too much sometimes. Yeah, and then we'll be hearing from you hopefully from the Spanish.
I'll be reporting from Spain.
Reporting live. All right. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
We'll see.
Well, maybe. We'll see. I'll be surprised.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time.